Hello, hi everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by WeUni in partnership with OPIT, Open Institute of Technology. My name is Carolina, nice to meet you all, and I'll be your host for today's event on behalf of WeUni. Okay, so I see here that the first people are already starting to join in. We are going to wait just a few minutes before starting to allow everyone to connect. In the meantime, feel free to say hi on our chat here in Zoom and please tell us where you are from since we are very curious. So, first of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us and thank our panelists for being here with us today. As you can see here, I'm not alone. I want to introduce you all to Alan Lerner, Director and Management Consulting at Toptal, and of course, also Professor at OPIT. And Greta Majocchi, Head of Marketing and Admissions at OPIT. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Carolina.
Today, we are going to discover the essential tool, strategies, and knowledge to excel in today's digital landscape. So, Alan will introduce the core concepts of digital transformation and why mastering these skills is crucial for success in the modern business world. At the end, of course, you will also have the possibility to have an overview of the academical offer of OPIT. And of course, you'll also have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them questions. So talking about that, I'd like to remind you that after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session in which you'll be able to ask direct questions to the panelists. So don't be shy and just type all of your questions in the Q&A section here on Zoom at the bottom of the page, and we'll go through them at the end of the webinar. Also, another important information for you, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by WeUni for this free masterclass, stay tuned because we will post a link to get the certificate at the end of the session. Okay, so I think that some other participants are joining. Welcome to all of you. Today we are here with OPIT. We are talking with Alan and Greta about the digital skills of today. So I think that without further ado, I can now leave the floor to our panelists for their presentation. So enjoy this webinar and see you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Carolina, and a warm welcome to everybody from myself and Alan. So as Carolina mentioned, we're going to go through a brief introduction about OPIT, then the masterclass with Professor Alan about thriving in the hyper-connected world. So you're going to learn new skills that you will need in order to grow your career. Just allow me to just say a few words about who we are. So Alan is, as we said, is a professor at OPIT, is also and a business executive, works in many different companies in management technology consulting. So he's going to bring his expertise. And I'm head of marketing and admissions at OPIT. So if you have any questions about our programs and about the admissions, I'm more than happy to answer you. So regarding OPIT, we are an institution and we have a specific mission, which is to unlock progress and unlock employment on a global scale by providing top quality education in the specific field of technology. And technology is key for us. So all our degrees are about technology. We do believe that technology can change the way we do business. And today is going to be an example about specifically digital business and how that can be changed and affected by the way you approach it as well. Regarding OPIT, we are an institution that offers degrees. We are online, so we offer flexible and fully online degrees. We are accredited at the European level, but also beyond that. We focus, as I said, on technology. So we have digital business, of course, computer science, artificial intelligence, data science, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. Our programs are all career aligned. They've been designed and taught in a way that you can relate to what business requires today and tomorrow. So they're very practical and applicable to what is needed by the business today. We are online, but the support is always available from our faculty, from the tutors, from the coordinators, the career service. So you will find a lot of possible support along your journey. And finally, we believe to be inclusive. So we have students from more than 80 countries and affordable. Regarding OPIT itself, one of our main characteristics and strengths is actually the faculty, starting from the rector. He's been Minister of Education in Italy, he's a rector, has been rector at Politecnico di Torino, and founded this school, this university, because we believed in the fact that a different type of approach was needed in order to make sure that we were in line what business requires today. As you can see from this brief chart, but you can find the faculty now on our website, our faculty comes from different businesses, but also from academia. So it's a mix of knowledge on how to teach and also how to do business. And the guest that we have today is the perfect example. So without delaying it too much, I'm going to introduce you to Professor Alan Lerner. He's, as I said, a business executive in many fields in management technology consulting, but also professor, and specifically professor at OPIT. And he's going to guide you today about this thriving, this hyper-connected world. So Alan, I think I'm going to leave the floor to you and your presentation.
Of course. Thank you so much, Greta, Carolina, the Doc City and the OPIT team, and everyone that is taking the time to attend. It's a pleasure to be here. And again, one of the amazing, or the best thing that I should say, really, really fills me up is to be able to share a bit of my experience and learn from everyone through the process. So again, really appreciate it. So I'll start by saying buenas tardes, buonasera, good afternoon, everyone, good evening. We're going to discuss a bit around thriving in a happy, connected world and discuss a bit new skills that we all need to grow our career in this space, particularly considering what's going on at a global scale. Of course, Greta already introduced me. I have worked my whole life in management and technology consulting, very hard at KPMG in Argentina and in Canada. And currently I'm a management consulting director at Toptal, working particularly with small and medium businesses, helping them fulfill their requirements for challenging projects with the best talent. My experience at a professional level spans from internal audit to robotics process automation implementation, a lot of project management, transformation, management office leadership, a bit of non-financial risk management, shared service center implementations, change management, workforce shaping, and so forth. I've been working in multiple industries. So one of the things that I really enjoy about consulting is that you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you have the ability to speak and go around different challenges with a different sense and meeting amazing people and learning a ton from them. And I do think that professional teaching is the best way to learn. And I had the pleasure of doing that at a global scale, both in Latin America, in Europe, and in North America at different institutions, both undergrad and grad levels. So I'm really, really happy to share this with you. And as I always like to start with a quote to just, sparkle curiosity. This Charles Darwin one that I do believe most of you already heard. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent one. It is the one that can better adapt to change, the most adaptable to change. And this is what we are going to be speaking about today. Besides concrete skills from a hard and soft perspective, it's going to be all about being able to adapt and adjust our profiles, our perspective, to be chameleonic and also be able to interact and manage multiple levels of complexities and situations that we probably never thought we were going to be facing. So that's maybe the gist. And, there are no recipes for success. It's just how much do we want to put in and how far do we want to go, because the sky's the limit in that sense. So we're going to start with a small introduction, sharing some really interesting insights and facts about what's going on. Then we're going to deep dive into the skills that at least I consider that are critical to growing our career if we want to tackle challenges in business and technology consulting. And of course, being mindful that some of us are more technical, some of us are more, let's say, less technical when it comes to, a hardcore technology. And then I'm going to share some final thoughts, which, come across my experience, but also having the amazing possibility of interacting with great leaders, great colleagues, amazing professionals, students, and, people that I've surrounded for the past year. So let's go for it. So where are we standing? When I think in terms of ideas that matter, I do believe that we need to we need to unpack some of the things that pose a conflict, or maybe an idea that we really need to try and unravel in a very careful fashion. So we've all heard at some point that disruptive technology, and particularly artificial intelligence and generative artificial intelligence and so forth, is really posing threats to our current job market. That is partially true, because if we have a look at the stats, and concretely this World Economic Forum report from this year, in the next 5 years, 170 million jobs are projected to be created, whilst 92 million jobs will be displaced, particularly through disruptive technology, and more specifically through a mesh of different things such as AI, robotics, and so forth. So at some point in time, this is important for us, because the skills that we used to believe were going to secure ourselves in a particular job, in a particular industry, might definitely not be the same. And that creates change, and change will create some sense of, unpredictability. So although stats are very interesting and beneficial in terms of more jobs being created, and even the ones that we still don't know than the ones that are going to be displaced or destroyed, this really needs to sparkle our curiosity and allow us to think, what am I missing? What should I be learning? So interestingly, the WEF, in their Future of Jobs report, which I'm sharing the link in the presentation, that worked around 1,000 plus companies from 26 different industries, and again surveyed 14 million workers, speaks about this need of investing to transform and transforming to win. So again, we are definitely even closer to quantum computing, to optical technologies, to this huge growth around robotics and autonomous systems. And again, how that feeds this need of being technology a core part of our strategy. So we wouldn't be able to face any challenge if we are not incorporating technology as part of our core strategy. And this entails the need not only to invest in technology, but to invest in upskilling and reskilling our workforce. Interestingly, there's a ton of material, there's a ton of courses that we can take for free and paying them, but information, data, and knowledge are there for us to get. And this is important because as industries change, jobs will change, and some others will definitely decline or disappear. For you to have an idea, if you have a look at the picture that we do have on our left side of the slide, what are the fast growing jobs? If you have a high level glance at this, I would say 80% plus are about technology. So big data specialists, AI and machine learning specialists, financial technology engineers, a software and applications developer, UI and UX designers, DevOps, we have data analysis, data scientists. Everything is around data. Everything is around leveraging technology to gain better insights, to better serve our customers, to uncover new markets, to develop new business opportunities. And this is not new. We have been hearing this, and we have been living this environment. And as we transition continuously through it, there's a reality of jobs that will definitely disappear or decline. Again, the tellers at the bank or the cashiers, administrative assistants, and again, believe me, a ton of brick and mortar and non-brick and mortar businesses really require administrative staff, because at some point they have an amazing amount of knowledge about how business works. So when we think about accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll clerks, I don't see this world without CPAs. We all need CPAs to help us with our taxes. We all need CPAs to help us audit our financial statements. It's part of the job that needs to be done, even from a regulatory perspective. So will disruptive technologies displace this kind of roles? I would say partially, because we can definitely leverage technology for CPAs to be able to do their job and focus on what's important. Again, we're talking about displacing data entry clerks, graphic designers, business services and administration managers. Again, this even touches consulting. So there's a ton to unpack and a ton of things to consider when it comes to where shall we go? What skills do we need to look? And leveraging on this reality, it is quite interesting to quote this Accenture Life Trends Report 2025, which is extremely useful. It's a 90+ pager that is, free of access. You'll receive the link as part of the presentation. So when we think about this, I just want to highlight 2 of the 5 trends that are really, really eye-opening. The impatience economy, people looking for speed, quality, and that's non-negotiable. So see that 55% of the surveyed people, and we're talking again, a ton of people surveyed, more than 1,000, customers, individuals, and professionals. 55% of the people prefer quick solutions over traditional methods to achieve their health and financial goals. And again, we're also seeing a ton of content consumption and creation from social media, which again is eye-opening, considering the fact that both Meta, Instagram, and any social network that produces useful content can really benefit from this network effect. So again, people are thinking in terms of engagement, of speediness, and quality. And the other trend that is really interesting to see is the dignity of work. So importantly, as the pandemic has shown us, employee expectations need to be fulfilled from the zero moment, meaning work-life balance today is priceless, and a lot of people would not sacrifice that in order to fulfill their personal needs. So again, when we have to weigh this, we really need to rethink what are we doing as an organization to make sure that we retain the right talent, that we recruit the right talent, and that we can refresh and revamp our value proposition every step of the way. So again, trust in leaders is important, and we need to feel comfortable around the fact that they will listen to our needs, they will comply with what we need, and they will allow us to speak up. Again, it's not only about improving productivity, it's also about psychological safety and making sure that we feel safe and that we can express our opinion for us to thrive. So besides this, Gartner also gives us interesting insights. How can we leverage technology, particularly AI, Gen AI, and this family, to make sure that as C-suite executives, and particularly CHROs, we can use this technology to our growth and benefit. So interestingly, it's about using technology to shorten and even try to, shrink the gap in terms of what we need to thrive and what we need to make our lives easier in terms of streamlining operations, processes, allowing us to devote our time to analytical, high-value adding activities rather than being, every time trying to go around operational day-to-day stuff. So again, companies need to redesign and refresh their tech stack and their innovation strategy. They need to, of course, work with their employees to make sure that everyone is aligned. And again, new leaders or leaders that have been leading with maybe a different paradigm need to refresh that approach, making sure that we can all satisfy needs in terms of realization and of course revenue. And interestingly, and some of the things that I've noticed that are really eye-opening are 2 trends 8 and 9. Loneliness becomes a business risk, not just a well-being challenge, particularly for companies that are fully remote. So again, people that have been used to going to the office and now there's no office, that poses a challenge. Although some of you might think, I can be with my family, I can help my wife, I can, enjoy my kids, I can even, get a cup of coffee and, I know that I'm not going to be dragged into a meeting. There's also this idea of socialization as a key need to be able to grow. And also, trend number 9, employee activism that drives adoption and norms for responsible AI. So it's not only about AI making our lives easier, it's about AI being used in an ethical way. So this gives us a ton of insights around the fact that, AI and disruptive technologies are still to be discovered and adopted in a better and higher fashion. Because as you probably know, there are a ton of companies that have said, what, we are definitely keen on adopting AI, or we are really interested in investing in AI in the next 3 to 5 years. But still, few of our companies report that their HR organization has a formal AI strategy that is communicated, is well known, and is bringing in results. Again, McLean and Company is very crispy on this when it comes to what's going on and how adoption is bringing in results. So there's still a big road to go. And I do think that everyone that can benefit from it will, if we can definitely leverage and work ourselves around the immense amount of data that we do have available at the palm of our hands. So again, probably we can create content, we can consume content, we can leverage the power of networks to our own benefit and to the benefit of our organizations and our projects. But one thing is real, we need to be able to navigate this extremely complex data world, making sure that we use the right data to make the right decisions, and that we can, of course, invest in those capabilities to make sure that we can develop that competitive advantage that will make us different and unique. So again, welcome to the world where data is the new oil, data is the new gold, data is everything. But a big important piece of advice, we need to be skeptical and try to be very, challenging when it comes to what do we need to use to develop our own strategies and navigate this complexity. So again, more data, more complexity, more challenges, and more opportunities. So I wanted to talk about 8 capabilities that I do believe that are important to start or continue to develop for us to be able to thrive in this changing digital world and growing our career. The first one is about managing complexity. So we are all and every time around multiple different contexts, industries, projects, and challenges. Every one of them poses a different perspective and at some point forces us to think outside the box. So the idea here is we need to develop and continue to improve our capability to solve problems and make decisions under pressure, under fast-changing conditions, and we need to try to understand that this is not easy peasy. Meaning, we need to understand our organizations, our clients. We need to foresee how socio-technical relationships are built, because again, every organization is a socio-technical system where we do have people, where we do have skills, and where we do have a context full of uncertainty and complex variables. So if we cannot develop an outside-in vision, meaning see what's going on in the industry rather than seeing ourselves first, it's going to be really tough to find good benchmarks that actually suffice for us to execute flawlessly. So I will always recommend that before looking at ourselves and see, hey, we are the best doing this, we are unique and number one, the humblest thing to do is to do an outside-in exercise, try to benchmark best practices and avoid copying, but emulating, right? So let's take what we can definitely use and adapt that to our clients, to our own organization, because we cannot copycat anyone here. But we can leverage on what other organizations did and worked for them, which again, it's not a copycat. It's just an adaptation of how things should go and look like. And this complexity exercise is also about building and leading or daring to lead diverse teams, meaning people from multiple backgrounds. In consulting, I've been working with CPAs, with BBAs, with business administration, business consultants, with psychologists, with architects, with translators, with data scientists, with software developers, and again, you never know their background until you say, hey, I can't believe the team that I'm leading or the team that I'm working on or with. And in that sense, the experience is nurturing, because at the end of the day, you want to work or develop relationships with people that might be different from you. That's, I would say, in my experience, one of the best ways to learn. And then it's all about moving fast and try to fix things faster. It's not about perfection. It's not about having the answers to all of the questions. It's just about giving yourself the chance to face the music, to face a challenging situation, and moving fast. So this brings another discussion. Fail fast, fail cheap. But if you don't fail, how are you going to know if you're learning something from it or if there is any better way to do things? So again, you need to embrace digital literacy, always trying to be proactive. And besides the brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible environment that we are competing on, this banning concept, we need to always strive to learn different things and try to put these learnings into practice as much as we can. The second capability is about leveraging networks. And this is very interesting and challenging because the power and the value of your network is unique. And again, I've mentioned the term network effects a lot, which is important not only in B2C, but B2B relationships. And it speaks about how far you can go knowing the right people and making sure that you can leverage on other folks to thrive and to help them thrive as well. So this is about using networks to gain insights and data to sort out problems. It's about using this as a space to learn and to enhance influence. Then we can all talk about developing personal branding and what are we doing if we really want to better serve our customers or enhance the way we develop new markets. But networks, it's all about, in my opinion, developing the right relationships at the right time so you can either nourish and learn, but also help other people and help yourself and your clients' organizations to be better. So treat networks as mutually rewarding relationships. I will always tell or try to tell people, try to give as much as you can and be humble to receive something back. And in that sense, I really, really encourage everyone to continue working on your own personal brand and profile, whether if it's creating content or sharing content or reposting content in multiple spaces. I really love LinkedIn particularly for this purpose, but the sky's the limit. And there's a ton of things you can learn from a lot of leaders that are out there sharing their content without asking for anything in exchange. The third capability is about thinking and acting globally. So global means globally with a local flavor. So how are we benchmarking global best practices and bringing them to our organization? Same as I said when I started discussing our first capability. So the best way to learn, the best way to grow is to look to others because that's the only way to say, hey, there are companies, there are people that can do this in a better fashion. The best way for me to improve is to learn from them. And then I'll be able to craft it into my own way, my own style. So identifying what great companies are doing and searching information into multiple rankings is the best start, in my opinion. So you probably heard about Fortune, the American Customer Satisfaction Index, the European Customer Satisfaction Index, the best place to work rankings, and there's a ton to see and develop that perspective. Because at the end of the day, if you want to thrive with your startup, with your company, the best thing you can do is to nourish yourself with best practices and understand what your competitors are doing, what great leaders in other industries are doing, and how can you adapt those practices to your own meaning, to your own end. And again, culturally complex environments are what really proves your character, particularly when facing challenging situations. And this speaks about, academic work, professional practitioner work, and your own personal life. So again, it's always good to surround ourselves and try to see what others are doing, avoiding, of course, paralysis analysis, because at the end of the day, it's us against the world. The fourth capability, inspire engagement. Again, as change makers, we really want to foster a culture that creates not only meaningful connection between colleagues and the way we, relate with our leaders, but it's all going to be around how can we understand individual values and needs and align them to multiple complexities and contexts. So what type of projects, what type of deals do we want to participate and do we want to add value to? How can we make sure that our contributions are heard? And how can we make sure that our teams are not afraid to speak up? Again, psychological safety, a concept that we're going to be hearing a lot. How can we make sure that our work environment is inclusive and respectful from multiple ways of thinking and interacting? And how are we developing our meaningful conversations as colleagues, as individual contributors, as leaders? How are we crafting these? How much time are we taking to help others thrive, to coach, to mentor, to receive coaching, to receive mentorship? Uh, how much time are we devoting to doing these things? This is for me extremely important because it speaks about who you are and who do you want to be. And again, I'm sure that if I ask some of you, okay, who are your leaders? Who are the people that you look up to? You probably tell me someone in your family, someone at work, a thought leader. It's what makes sense to you, but at the end of the day, I'm sure that you will probably want to be the best version of yourself for you, for your family, for your teams, for your organizations, for your clients. So I will always recommend to share advice and ask for some, because you don't have an idea how nurturing that is and how good it is to say, you know what, I want to hear what people have to say about me, or how can they help me be better? And I think that's priceless. The fifth capability speaks about communication. Communicate strategically. So it is tough, especially for people that like to talk a lot. See me, I'm a good example. So before, I would say a lot of people, including myself, would, listen to respond, not listen to understand. And this speaks about your own communication style and who you want to be. So some people really take a lot of time to develop their own voice, their own style, their own way. And I should say this is a work in progress, because at the end of the day, finding your own voice is not an exercise that takes 1 day, 2 days. It might take years. It might take, being exposed to multiple challenges and say, you know what, this is the voice that I want to have. That can be, of course, nurtured by multiple other voices, but at the end of the day, it's yours to, secure, and it's yours to grow. And that speaks about the need to craft your own storytelling style, because storytelling is important not only for you to be able to share your thoughts, but to structure your arguments in a better fashion, and to also leverage data and facts to prove your point, to be argumentative about it. And a great way to do that is not only leverage on the word, but also on multiple tools that can be of great value to share data, to share feeds, to share opinions, to collaborate cross-functionally. And most importantly, I would say in this capability, practice is what matters. So again, to deliver a 10-minute presentation, you might probably need to practice 2, 3, 4 hours. And you'd say, for just a 10-minute presentation, yes, it's about how many hours you can practice to make mistakes, to show someone how are you doing, to ask for feedback. And that is a very individual, particular, nuanced exercise. So everyone needs to learn, everyone meaning starting home, to be better each and every day. The sixth capability is about fostering innovation, and this speaks about collaborating, building not only sound technology, but also processes that allows us to create a good environment to share ideas, to see the way we do things in a better fashion, and of course, to try and have a fresher look at how things are done from a status quo perspective. So it's all about the relationship between systems, processes, technology, and how are we practicing this and showing our worth and our company's worth to our clients. But at the end of the day, it's all about thinking in a way that no one thought about. So think outside the box, develop a growth mindset. Don't be afraid to be mistaken. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to say something that you believe in, as long as you can sustain and support that with facts, with real stuff. And I would try to say, and again, I'm not a hardcore techie person, but try to be as much techie savvy or tech savvy as possible, meaning you don't have to be an expert or a specialist in every technology, in every programming language, but it's good that you know how that feels. And it's good that you know that when someone speaks about agentic artificial intelligence or Java or C# or Ruby on Rails or whatever term you want to use, at least you know what that means. That will make conversations and dialogues easier. And if you don't know, you'll find out. That's another important thing. Be curious, go and find out. And don't be afraid of not knowing everything. The seventh one, pretty much related to this, cultivate your learning agility, meaning no one will tell you what to do, what to learn, and it's up to you to adopt this lifelong learning mindset and to say, you know what, I want to learn new things once a month, twice a month, or, develop X amount of skills per year. It's about your process. So don't compare yourself to anyone. You're unique, and it's what makes sense and has a meaning to you as a practitioner, as an academic, as anyone that wants to help someone growing yourself. So try to seek as much opportunities as you want and as you can, involved in webinars, in seminars, do massive online open courses, study a master's. Don't stand just right there thinking that you know enough, because you don't. And the reality is that you don't, not because you're not good enough, but because you can always learn more, which is challenging because, again, we have our duties, we do have our families. We might not even have time to, take 1 minute to say, you know what, I'm not going to think about anything. I just want to. That's challenging, I know, but it's also fun. So use this to enhance your problem-solving skills. Try to understand how companies, clients, and other people succeeded and failed. You can learn a lot from failure. That's an amazing way to cultivate your learning agility. And finally, the eighth one is develop personal adaptability. You don't know what you're capable of until you face real life stressful situations. So be flexible about how you approach challenges, have an open mindset, build resilience by effectively managing stress, time, and energy, which is easier said than done. Believe me, especially if you are in a high-paced environment. Recognize that past approaches are not useful in every type of situations. So again, forget about the plug and play and one size fits all approach that doesn't work, or at least hasn't worked for me, or is not sustainable. And always, always, and always learn and capitalize from mistakes. There are a ton of suggestions that can be useful to embrace deep work habits and enhance the way you do things. Uh, I will leave this up to you because each and every one of us is quite different. Some of these techniques are good. Some of them, in my opinion, or at least haven't been useful for me. But the good thing here is that there's a ton of things and there's a ton of myths around these things, which makes it really, really interesting for us to say, hey, are we doing the right things? And even if we're not doing the right things, what is right and what is wrong? And how can we experience better and say, I've tried this, didn't work, but I can adapt it, or I can even share it with someone that I think it might work, or it might work for him or for her. And again, remember, it's going above and beyond core skills. It's being curious. It's about being creative. It's about being humble. It's about being analytical. It's about trying to be as resilient as you can. It's about handling and knowing that you don't need to know the answers to all of the questions, but it's good that you can make yourself and pose other people questions so that their thoughts can nourish yours and vice versa. So final thoughts: improve every day a bit, and of course align expectations both with yourself and with others. This is a two-way exercise. Be as agile as possible, always trying to preserve business focus, process effectiveness, and human kindness. Kindness is so important today, and at some point very underrated. Invest in good people, in good ideas, and try to build a robust network. Mindset change should be constant in order for you, for me, for everyone to develop this growth mindset, this idea of not being averse to risk and trying to learn something new every day and not being afraid to make mistakes. Leadership and innovation are two faces of the same coin. So again, to innovate is to dare. Not to innovate might be lethal, so have that in mind. New roles will emerge, some old ones will perish. We need to be ready and transform ourselves every day. And if not every day, every now and then, but know that we cannot be the same person. We need to, at some point, mute our skills and change favorably to tackle new challenges. Hack your current workplace, even if it's a fully remote work for your physical, emotional, and personal well-being. I would always try to do what you love and love what you do, which is amazing if that happens, because you won't feel that you're working, you feel that you're enjoying yourself every day. Don't be afraid of technology and don't freak out when things go wrong. Again, fail fast, improve faster. Be courageous, be brave, work collaboratively, and deliver your best. I would say, this is my point, and it's just my take. Better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission, although we know we cannot apply this in every environment and every step of the way. But it's about how bold you want to be and measuring the risk of being bold. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Again, asking for help doesn't speak anything wrong about you. On the contrary, don't panic nor paralyze. And a bonus one, avoid unnecessary stress. Always be happy and enjoy yourself. And as a small plus, 4 books that I will always recommend to people that want to take a deeper dive on this: I, Human by Thomas Chamorro Premusic, Digital Mindset by Paul Lenardi and Sedal Neely, Right Kind of Wrong by Amy Edmondson, and finally, Francis Fry and Ann Morris, Move Fast and Fix Things. They do have an extreme podcast that is amazing. Fry and Morris really recommend these, and there's a ton more. So having said that, I want to thank everyone for listening to me and for being there. Again, I would say this presentation is nourishing because every time we go over it, there are so many different things that we can explore. So thanks everyone for sharing with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the really interesting presentation. I would say really inspiring, in fact. So I don't know if Greta, would you like to tell something more about OPIT? We still have a couple of minutes before go through the Q&A session.
Oh, maybe we can just answer the questions first because I think Alan then has to leave as well.
Perfect.
So,
Yes. Okay,
yes.
great. So we can go straight to the first one. It is, how can professionals balance the need for technical skills with soft skills in the context of digital business?
Great question, Esther Beraldi. Thank you so much. Uh, it's a great one, to be honest, because there's no recipe to that particular one, especially considering that that balance is very subjective. So if you ask me, is there a particular percentage of soft versus hard skills that you should need to develop? The answer is no, and not at all, because you will need technical skills or to enhance dash to learn new things as your job requires you to, or as you want to be curious so you can tackle these challenges. And soft skills, I would say, are learned every step of the way, every second of your life, from facing a very mundane, common situation, going to the shop to get groceries, or maybe speaking with a relative or talking with a peer about a complex situation that deals with, you know, a stressful component at work or a huge layoff that happened or might happen considering this environment. So I do think that in the context of digital business, there's no recipe for success. It's just about what you think you need to be able to thrive at your own work. So if that's a technical skill in terms of learning a new technology or a new programming language, or expanding your horizon in terms of understanding how an industry works through some case studies, that's good. If you believe that your job will require you to be more savvy in terms of expressing your ideas, I will always share and recommend, hey, do stand-up comedy, go and learn a hobby from an artistic perspective. By the way, I also sing. You're never gonna hear me, but it's a great way to express artistically. My dad used to be a singer. So I do think that the mesh or the balance is very particular. It's not an extreme. It's not like a 95-5 or a 90-10. It will always be nuanced in terms of what you feel you need for that particular moment and for what your job or your professional circumstance requires you to do. I hope I answered. It's a great question, and we could talk hours about this.
Thank you so much. Another question is, can you provide examples of companies that have successfully navigated digital transformation? What lessons can be learned from them?
Good. That's another great question. And I want to quote a couple of Latin American companies that are amazing. Probably, I like to speak about Mercado Libre or Meli, which is Latin America's biggest e-commerce company. It's one of, the Argentinian unicorns that we can feel proud of. They have been my clients in the past for a couple of projects, and working for them has been quite an experience in every sense of the way. The roller coaster of emotions is all there. I learned from them the need of adopting a beta mindset, meaning you're always in a beta mode, learning continuously from others and from yourself. I want to also quote Globant, which is another Argentinian-based company that has grown and expanded a lot. They were born in a garage in Tandil, which is a small place in Argentina, and they are in the SEC. They have grown a ton from being a whole bunch amount of people and growing technologies and working with amazing clients, developing a ton of disruptive techs and showing us that we can hack technology. Another company that for me has been really really good in the fintech space is called Pomelo. Again, probably heard about Pomelo. And that they proved that they were able to offer and work around financial inclusion being a fully digital solution. And again, I'm talking about Pomelo, but there are a ton of, digital banks and companies that, are making our lives easier and are hacking an industry that has been and is extremely regulated. So these three examples, and again, I just quoted those three because, first of all, there are companies that are within Latin America, so that's in my heart. And they have, again, been able to mesh and work themselves around the best of people, processes, technology, and data around them to craft compelling strategies and to being able to hack their industries. And hacking means disrupting. Okay, so hope I answered that one.
Thank you. Another one that we have here is what ethical considerations should be taken into account during the digital transformation process?
That's a great one. When we talk about ethics, typically we want to narrow this down to our understanding of what's right and what's wrong. And that's quite nuanced because personal ethics and business ethics might not always align. I will always try to say and tell and exercise this practice what you preach approach. So data privacy is critical, particularly when working with disruptive technologies. Try to avoid at some point sharing data that is, company specific or, around transactions. Try to always be as impersonal as possible when you deal with technology, particularly when you are trying to train or enhance a process. It's about what you can get from a best practice perspective. Don't use the output of digital transformation for your own good, meaning, try to always find the greater good and put that as a priority. Although if I can definitely leverage technology to make my work easier, not at the expense of others, of course, because this effort needs to be collaborative, we should work ourselves around that. And I would say, be very careful who you share things with all the time. Those are my top four, I would say, for this one.
Thank you so much. So what's the biggest mistake companies make when going digital, in your opinion, of course?
Oh, there's a ton. But I would say that one of the worst ones, in my opinion, is believing that investing in more technology will mean better results and will mean at some point in time that you are better than the rest. It's not about how much you can invest or you invest. It's about how wise you are when doing that investment. And besides that, how much you invest. A key mistake here that is, paired with that is not investing in the people that is going to be required to use that technology in order to help the company thrive or enhance their competitive edge.
Thank you. And I see, I think the last one we have here, that is, what's one myth about digital business that you wish people would stop believing?
That's a good one. I would say that not being a hardcore tech person, one myth is that you need to know everything about everything when it comes to assisting or helping your clients thrive, when it comes to implementing a digital transformation initiative. And it doesn't matter if you are a functional analyst or a functional professional, or if you are a hardcore technology expert, or if you're a business individual that might not be savvy in the tech space, but knows a lot about the business. So I would strongly recommend that. It's not about how much you know, it's about knowing the right people that can help you out in case you have an issue.